just the build-up. These poor bastards had no chance.
マフィアの追跡部隊をたった一人で壊滅に追い込んだウボウギン。
ウボウギン。
ウボー。来たよ。
Oh. Oh, yes. Great shot. Of course. This could be their opening, though.
ここはウボーに任せて。フェイタンも一勝負どう？
This guy, always so happy. Ooh, oh, worm. Oh. Yeah. Dude just crushed his hand. Oh. That's it. That's it. Ooh. Interesting sound design again. Oh, mangled fingers and everything. Okay, okay, good. Hold on now, hold on. Something tells me he'll be just fine. Oh. Oh, yeah. You know, he feels like he's right. Big bang impact. Fist of destruction. Sounds about right. God damn, it's like a nuke going off. I was about to say, oh my god. Yeah, he feels like he's pulled right out of Dragon Ball Z, right? No. Oh, they didn't know. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah. Krapika, you gotta stay chill. I mean, he's not chill, but... Ooh, the heartbeat. Melody, give us a read on the situation. Number 11. Yeah. Even reminds me of Raditz. A little added nen, but yeah, again, it's a different level though. Oh. Unfazed. Hold on, hold on. Oh, I love that. Oh, look at this. Yeah, they're not reckless. Maybe you got a little bit reckless. But see, now he's distracted. I love that. Oh. How strange. Yeah, okay. They're not pushovers. Oh. Okay, let's see how he gets out of this. Because I'm sure he'll get out of it, but let's see how. Right. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. It's a bit of an out there. Oh my god. Oh my god, he just injected them. He is. Oh. Oh god. Cannibal as well? Or I mean, he's certainly done that before. You gotta keep your distance. And that's a slip up, that's a mistake. Okay, he's calmed down a bit now. Oh. I'm sure he has something up his sleeve. Oh, projectile. Ah, it is. No. Oh. My god. And that's just one of them. That's just one troop member. Still. Whoa. Love that sound design. Yeah, at point blank, little homie's just finished. His brains just turned to mush. Burst eardrums and everything. Wow, this is some Nen user. Is he going to just burst open? Can burst eardrums. I mean, at that range, of course. That's ice cold, man. That's cold as fuck. Again, that's just one of them. I mean, they picked up on it. Oh no, Kurapika. No, don't go. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Huh. Oh, is this it? Melody, time to step in? It's a flute solo from the... Oh. Huh. It's a beautiful piece of music. It's hauntingly beautiful. Calm and serene. Transportive. That's insane. That I felt that a few episodes ago already, and now it's actually in practice. So, okay, she's emitting, but she's also kind of manipulating, right? She's certainly emitting aura. Love that. Yeah, Kurapika's lucky she's here. She's good for Kurapika. She really is. Senitsu? Okay, now he's calmed down a bit, maybe. I mean, he is still paralyzed, right? From the neck down? Not in this setting. Ah, yeah. Get it. Yeah, remove him from this setting. Then maybe you have something on your hands. Nothing alive. Nay. Oh. He's quite read up. Oh, god damn. That's simple. Picky.
Yes.
Yes. Whoa. How? thread.
新手の陰獣か。
Mhm.
ウボは毒で体が動かねえし、
Right.
ヒルも体内に入ったままだ。
Hey, it's a...
仕方ない。助けに行くか。
Oh boy.
やれやれ
The chase is on, eh?
今ならまだ行き先がわかる。糸の気配はインで消してあるから、行で見破られるか、針に気づかれない限り、どこまででも追跡できる。
残りの陰獣も一網大臣にできるかもね。
Yeah, but how about the remaining shadow beasts? I've only seen 4 of them.
追跡の方が楽しそうだ。
Oh god. Ah, okay, he made the call. Okay, they're coming then. But it's a perfect time to pick up Uvo. Nice, nice. But can you contain him? Can you? Interesting. Hey, Krapika's in the driver's seat now. How about that?
こんな鎖で俺を捕らえたつもりかよ。さっさと殺しておかねえと後悔するぜ。
Go on, Krapika. Explain.
分かってんのか？千載一遇のチャンスなんだぜ。もったいぶってねえでさっさと。
Oh, he's feeling that.
黙ってろと言ってるんだ。
That's the middle finger. Got a little melody.
なんだこのパワー。俺の体が毒で動かせない
Whoa.
ことは無関係に
How?
強い。
This.
野郎、強化系を極めた俺と同等に近い力をこのちっぽけな鎖に込めてやる。
I mean, he's certainly a master. I've seen it. Yeah, it's the middle finger. So I've seen the ring finger, now the middle finger. Change.
これはお前たち雲にしか使わない力。原料弾を捉え、その自由を奪う。そのためだけに使うと誓った力。
Ah.
もしも雲ではないものにこの力を使ってしまった場合、即座に私自身が命を失う
Whoa.
条件をつけた。
Self-imposed condition. Restraint.
制約と
Ah,
制約。
yeah. Covenant.
これは覚悟の証。リスクはバネ。制約と
Oh,
覚
melody.
悟が大きいほど
Ah.
念は強く働く。
Okay.
命のリスクと覚悟を背負った激しい戦いの幕が開く。
Ah, okay. Yeah. The title makes sense now. Okay, let's get into it, folks. Episode 44. I mean, it's a phenomenal showcase of Nen, right? Not just Uvo's Nen. Uvo, who is also known as Uvojin or Uvogin, one or the other. I mean, that's his actual name, but Uvo is the term of endearment, I suppose, the nickname that even some of the members of the Phantom Troop use. So I think I'll probably continue calling him that. So yeah, you know, for at least a half of the episode or a solid chunk of that episode, it's a showcase. It's a showcase. And, you know, it's not just as simple as him just running through the shadow beasts. They actually do kind of have him on the ropes at one point. They do, you know. They actually kind of had his number at one point. They got the better of him at one point. And, you know, you see the synergy that these members, these 4 members of the Shadow Beasts do kind of have. I thought it was really quite impressive, right? So ultimately, it's a step up. It was a step up. And, you know, I mean, beyond that, they actually almost had him. Because if indeed that was poison, he's a goner, right? As Machi also stated. So even though he is absolutely devastating out there, again, in his, you know, use of Nen, Master Enhancer, there's openings. There are some openings. But the thing is, he's just so formidable, so incredible that even though it felt like, and actually even looked like that, yeah, you know, they kind of do have his number, they do have him on the ropes, they made a crucial mistake. Or the guy, right? He thought, oh, okay, you know, everything below the neck is paralyzed. He's done for. That's it. But no, you know, turns out, you know, he had more than enough in his locker to still take him out. I mean, it's an incredible display, and it's really, really quite concerning as well, isn't it? Given the fact that this is just one member of the Phantom Troop. And again, you know, the cool thing about this is that I do get to see a Master Enhancer, right? Maybe some of these things could be applicable to someone like Gon in the future, right? Again, everyone's unique. I mean, I'm sure Gon's Hatsu is going to be really quite unique. But the fact that I am seeing a master enhancer doing his thing, there could be some similarities. Perhaps, it can kind of function as a blueprint, loosely, right? Loosely. And it can kind of allude to some of the things that Gon could excel at, right? If he chooses to. And almost immediately, you also get to see why exactly Kurapika really wanted to be an enhancer, right? Because again, he felt that it would have been perfectly suited. The absolute best category for his goals, his pursuits, right? And Kurapika himself also, gets to see it on display. But Kurapika has all kinds of other tricks up his sleeves. The thing is, I love it. The thing is, remember in my discussion for the last episode, at that point, I just didn't feel that Kurapika can actually go up against any of them one-on-one. I mean, of course, the idea of him going up against multiple Phantom Troop members is not something you could ever even entertain. No, I'm sorry, it's just not happening. It's not realistic at all. But then, of course, the next possibility becomes one-on-one. But then, even that kind of gave me cause for concern, because I felt that at that point in time, again, last episode, at that point, I felt that he'd still be out of his depth, realistically speaking. And look at this. An episode later, Togashi immediately kind of addresses my concerns, right? And he brings in this new, whole new thing, whole new application of Nen. It opens up this new door in terms of, the conditional application of Nen. And I feel that it really is quite the effective, step up. It doesn't feel like a cop-out because, again, it really is quite a high-stakes, high-risk, self-imposed restriction. Again, I can only give my opinion, but at this point, it doesn't feel like, it's sudden or it's really OP. To me, it actually kind of feels like a really authentic and realistic approach, from the writing perspective and from Kurapika's perspective as well. Because, of course, he himself must understand that, I'm going to have to tap into something really quite special, right? I'm going to have to dig deep. If I am going to go after the Phantom Troop, my resolve is going to be tested, right? And the stronger the resolve, the stronger my Nen becomes, right? So in this really unique case, right, against just the Phantom Troop members, just the spiders, his Nen becomes just incredible, right? Because it's only being applied to those specific members. I think it's really quite fascinating, captivating even, this idea of, the self-imposed restriction, entering into a contract with himself, right? Because, ultimately Nen is based on an individual's will, right? So, it checks out. It makes a lot of sense to me. And it's beginning to feel like that he is effectively at this point directing his fiercest Nen towards his prime targets, right? The spiders and the spiders alone, right? And this spider, Uvo, he gets to experience it. And, based on his reactions and, again, his internal monologue, this is really quite insane. This is a master user of Nen, a master enhancer. And he's claiming that even if he wasn't paralyzed, that he would still have problems with this chain. And again, it didn't just magically happen as something OP all of a sudden. It happened because Kurapika put it into motion. He entered into this conditional contract. And the price is really quite the high price to pay, isn't it? Death. That is the condition. That is the stipulation. If he's to use it against anyone else but the spiders, he must pay with his life. But also, from that perspective, it feels like maybe a part of it actually is him kind of regulating himself, right? Trying to keep himself in check, right? Because I think Kurapika is intelligent enough to know. He's one of the most intelligent of the entire show, of the entire story. He knows that this type of power could corrupt and that he himself might not be immune to it either, right? So maybe there is a bit of that in there. Maybe there is a bit of concern, a bit of lingering concern, perhaps, that he maybe felt that he has to check himself, that even he may not be above it. But again, in doing so, he's essentially concentrating this burst of Nen, right? This exponential increase in his Nen abilities for that ability, right? The chain jail, Again, this is the restraining middle finger. So yes, I got a confirmation. Indeed, he has different abilities for all of his fingers. And I've seen 2 so far. And the exciting bit is that there's still a few more to go. So yeah, at this point, he's got a member of the Phantom Troop right there. Right there. So yeah, at this point, it truly feels like Kurapika is in the driver's seat, right? Beyond just literally being in the driver's seat. But again, that being said, I don't know, man. I can't shake this feeling of it's still kind of feeling like a ticking time bomb type situation, having Uvo, right? Because again, they immediately confirmed that, of course, the Phantom Troop is going to be in pursuit. They are going to come after them. They are going to try and get their comrade back. And, more likely than not, they'll probably get him back, right? But the key here is getting some information out of him, getting a dialogue started. And I feel that another really key component of this is Melody. They have Melody on their side. Melody can read your heartbeat. Melody can discern if you're lying, right? If you're being truthful, right? They had that little scene at the rooftop, right? Or on the rooftop, rather. Melody and Kurapika finally opening up. So yeah, it sets it up really quite nicely. But there's another party that's apparently going to show up as well, because somehow Worm stays alive long enough to get the message out to the rest of the I almost said Phantom Beasts, to the Shadow Beasts. So there's a good chance I'll probably get to see another handful of them, right? If not all of them. So yeah, I mean, it's about to be quite the encounter. Right now I might actually get to see a bunch of the Phantom Troop members taking on a bunch of the Shadow Beasts. I mean, this really could end up being quite the bombastic chase scene. But the chief also gets word of the chains that snatched up Uvo, right? I mean, that's really quite a fantastic scene. It's a really jarring scene to see Uvo get dragged up like that, right? Into the dark sky, into the dark night, in that manner, right? After seeing that awesome display of devastating Nen ability, enhancement abilities, to see him just get snatched up like that, yeah, that's something. That's something special. But the chief clearly took an interest, right? He repeats chains, right? So maybe at this point, maybe he's thinking, are the Shadow Beasts capable of this? Is this in line with things he's heard? Ultimately, he's taken a bit of an interest in this. But let's go back to Kurapika finding out or seeing the tattoo, right? The iconic spider tattoo, number 11 in this case. Though, the I don't know, the placement of it, right? It's kind of on its side. It's not, centered on the back, higher, upper back. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess it's not that strict as long as you kind of have it. And the thing is, it kind of actually played out how I thought it's going to play out. Remember back in Trick Tower, right? The speculation about, Kurapika at some point, or even us, the audience, kind of coming across a character, and then all of a sudden, maybe, their shirt gets ripped or the shirt comes off, right? And that reveals the spider, right? That would make for a fantastic moment. It kind of played out like that, didn't it? Right? I mean, yes, there's a bit of a fake out in the Heaven's Arena arc, as I do get to see number 4 on Hisoka's back. But this right here, number 11 of the Phantom Troop, this one is the real deal. And indeed, it got that reaction out of Kurapika. And the thing is, after that initial, rage and hatred that Melody picks up on almost immediately as well, it appeared that he kind of calmed down a bit, right? Again, the scarlet eyes kind of disappeared, but then it kicks in, doesn't it? And at that point, Melody felt that he has completely lost control. Not felt, if Melody's feeling it, if Melody's saying it, that's how it is. Kurapika lost control. And that's interesting because, it is one of his concerns. It has been one of his concerns since the early days of the series. But Melody felt that if he goes in there, he is going to get himself killed. And he is about to go in there. And it's a perfect setup. It truly is a perfect setup for Melody to step in and finally exhibit, to showcase her Nen abilities. And essentially, as expected, her Nen abilities are rooted in music. She is musically inclined. So, it really did make a lot of sense that it is going to have something to do with, the application of music and how it makes people feel, right? I truly felt that it could be something like that. Because again, all of us know the effect a piece of music can have on you. And that is essentially how she calms all of them down through this really, I don't know, spiritual experience, transportive experience. I mean, how insane is that? And this, this might just be something that happened for me, right? It's really quite subjective. Remember a few episodes ago, I spoke of how transportive and immersive that scene was on the rooftop. And, mainly because, again, of that score, that flute solo. And also, of course, the backstory itself and the voice acting as well. But that track based on that flute solo really did a lot of the heavy lifting. So I find it insane that I actually felt that. It's almost as if I, as an audience member, felt that before she actually exhibits her actual Nen abilities a few episodes later. I just find that to be kind of crazy. I don't know, again, it might be something that happened just for me. Maybe a few of you had the same feeling, but I find it really quite fascinating that I actually kind of experienced the things these characters experienced as she does tap into her Nen abilities. Because you can see through their expressions that they are transported. For a moment in time, they are someplace else, spiritually, mentally, right? It's an incredible scene. Everything about Melody, this character, is just so beautiful. Listen, the episode itself is, a lot of it is based on the hype and the bombastic display of Nen earlier on, Uvo and his battle with the Shadow Beasts. But, once again, it kind of feels like Melody stole the episode. And once they do kind of break out of that trance, right, come out of it, rather, again, the trance that I kind of felt that I was in a few episodes ago, her loving and warm and caring disposition, nurturing disposition is on display once again, right? She's making sure to check in, apparently the perfect song to relax a person, so I loved that application of Nen, right? It is so perfectly suited to Melody, the spiritually restorative properties of music, right? Music can do that. It can. But now let's look at the technical aspect of it. Now, immediately it felt like she is emitting aura. But could this be a case of a mix of, her being an emitter and a manipulator? Because, at some level, she is kind of altering their headspace, their psyche, isn't she? So, there is some element of manipulation at play, I think. But for starters, she is emitting aura through the flute solo, right? So yeah, let's see. And also, folks, a lot of times these are just rhetorical questions, I'm kind of asking the question out loud because I know sooner or later it might be confirmed anyways. I'm not looking for an answer before the anime itself answers it. That's just how I kind of think things out. But let's kind of look at Hisoka's personality types for manipulators or emitters, right? So emitters are meant to be, again, according to Hisoka, and this is all based on his experience, with hundreds of them perhaps, they're meant to be impatient, right? Not detail-oriented, short-tempered. If you apply that to Melody, none of that fits. None of that fits really. But she's also not argumentative, is she? And, essentially that's one of the characteristics Hisoka mentions for a manipulator, right? But the thing is, I think there is a distinction. She's not controlling any of them, but she is altering their headspace, their psyche. So there is a distinction there, right? I don't know, could there be the possibility of a specialist even? But yeah, speaking of Uvo, this is just a tremendous display, right? It's an exhibition of his staggering raw power, isn't it? He is just devastating in close quarters. And, again, that's one of the mistakes that the Shadow Beasts end up making, right? They didn't keep their distance because they also kind of got overconfident, just like Uvo, right? Both of them on both sides, they kind of slipped up. Uvo did kind of underestimate them. And yes, given his stature and his abilities, and again, just the look itself, he does kind of fit that stereotypical berserker figure, right? Like I said, he kind of feels like he's been pulled right out of Dragon Ball Z, right? Kind of reminding me of someone like Raditz. Actually, even kind of resembles Raditz, right? Some of the character design elements of it. But, he's not just a simple, berserker. He's not just a simple brute. He's not. You know, he is intelligent. He is able to think and apply at a moment's notice. He does have situational application of his nen, but he wasn't quite able to do much inside of that car because it looks like Kurapika's chains are so effective that he could not even, you know, use that scream thing he did, the sonic boom type scream he does. So that's how effective it is, right? It's that, or it's a plot hole, right? Or maybe, you know, Uvo is kind of deciding to kind of play along at that moment. But I don't know. I think maybe that could be a bit far-fetched. It might be more so that the chains themselves are stopping him from actually exerting that you know, level of output. Oh, also, finally, let's kind of go back to Melody's nen abilities. You know, this is really quite a situational application of it, right? This was specifically to calm them down, right? To relax all of them. But does that mean that's the only application of it? Probably not, right? Because that'd be really quite limited. And, you know, again, she is really quite musically inclined, and music is as unique as it gets in terms of the mood it can elicit, the feelings it can elicit, right? So yeah, I think there's much more that she's capable of, and I'm really quite excited for that. I'm really, really quite excited to see Melody do her thing, you know, down the line in a different situation perhaps. But it's a great starter. But yeah, that should do it for this one, folks. If you enjoyed that, please consider dropping a like, drop some comments, give me your thoughts. If you're interested in early access to the next few episodes right now, perhaps full opacity or maybe timer-based full length, consider checking out the Patreon page and potentially supporting the channel as well in the process. The links are in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media, things like Twitter and Instagram, if that's your thing. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for the next episode. Until then, take it easy.